Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dave Peterson. I'm a Berwyn resident and active in the West Cook communities around here. And we're doing a video series to talk about stuff that's going on in our community, political activism and community activism and stuff. And also hopefully have some ways that different people can plug in. Tim Thomas is an elected Oak Park Township trustee and an activist in the United Auto Workers and much, much more. I'm getting ready for this. It's been pretty cool to see all the stuff you're involved in with the NAACP. And I mean, just your foster parent. I mean, I don't know if you want me to mention that. Sorry, should have asked that in advance, but why don't you just kind of maybe introduce yourself and then go into some questions.
So great. Thanks, Dave. Thank you for doing this. I think it's important to, as part of being a DSA member, Democratic Socialists of America member from the Chicagoland area, I think it's always important to highlight folks who are active and engaged in the community because it brings about the possibilities of what all we can do as DSA members. And hopefully it brings about the engagement of other folks who want to get more active in their community. As you said, you're absolutely right. So I'm an elected official, Oak Park Township trustee. I was elected in April of 2021. 2021. Wow. And so April's coming up soon. So it'll be a year soon. So I was elected then, and as part of being a township trustee in Oak Park, we do mostly social services. We're the social safety net of our community. And so whether it's folks who are in need of a little financial management as seniors, or whether it's folks who need some mental health support, that's there as part of township services, whether it's providing meals for seniors or activities for the youth in our community. All of those things are part of what the township does. We even have things that are preventative services that help support the youth as they may begin their operations of experimenting with drugs and alcohol, and so to keep them from going down that road. And we do a myriad of things, even have something that's called general assistance, which helps folks who need a little monetary help to get back on their feet. So that's kind of what Oak Park Township does. And no, that's not all of it, but that is a bit of it in a nutshell. And as Dave said, yes, I am a foster parent. I am a union activist. So I do, I don't really talk much about my foster parenting, but it's just what I do. I do it out of a sense of love and giving back to the community, and always feel that we must help those who need help. And so that's why I got into foster parenting. I got into it, for that. And for a long time, I had an aunt and uncle who would push me saying, hey, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. And I wasn't in a place to do it. I just wasn't in a place of stability where I could do it. And so, I bought a home and did all those things that, trying to get in a more stable situation allowed me to do. And so I moved forward and became a foster parent. I know you mentioned my union activism, and so thank you for mentioning that. And as part of that, I am active in the United Auto Workers. I'm a member of UAW Local 551, which is located on the south side of Chicago. It is a Ford plant that I've been there for over 10 years. I'm a longtime union activist, from being involved with SEIU, which were healthcare workers, and then switching over to United Auto Workers and Ford. By education, I'm an auto mechanic, and so that's how I kind of got involved with cars and Ford and all of that stuff, and went over to the UAW. UAW's had a lot of change over, the last couple of years, and part of that change has been that we've had a bit of corruption in our union that's seen, about 13 or 14 of our upper level leaders go to jail. And so I've been active in speaking out against that corruption and the need for change within the organization, and why we have to change and why we need more union democracy. And so that's been really important. Part of that is speaking out. I've been at the forefront of Unite All Workers for Democracy, which is a union-based group that is challenging the current, it's a rank and file member-led group that is challenging the current leadership of the UAW to do better, to look out for the members before they look out for themselves, to make sure that the members have a say in everything that goes on within our union, that we have access to all the documents and all the things that the top leaders of the union have, so that we can better be engaged in our union and have a strong voice in the future of the union and in our jobs and how things go. So that's why I've been with Unite All Workers for Democracy. We had a huge victory. For years, members have been fighting to get one member, one vote, where every member's vote counts when it comes to voting elected leadership, instead of just having delegates that go to a convention. Well, we finally won that, and we won that by a landslide, that we were able to change the organization when members had the opportunity to vote. And so in the upcoming elections, which will happen later on this year, every member in the UAW who chooses to vote, their vote will be counted for the leadership of the union, whether they're for the leadership or for somebody different in leadership. All of our votes count equally. We don't have to send a delegate to vote on our behalf. And so that has been huge. And it's changing our organization as they begin to get ready for the international convention, which will elect the future leaders of our union and change the direction that the union is going. So that's some of the work I've been doing. It doesn't actually stop there, Dave, as part of being a union activist and part of being a democratic socialist. DSA was very integral in the support of making this happen. And so there are folks within DSA's labor branch who were attorneys who helped us figure out some of the legal things that were around fighting for one member, one vote. There were folks in the labor branch who supported us as we went out and leafleted at our facilities and other facilities, and during that time that we were doing this, one of the great things that happened, Dave, was that, or I don't want to call it great, but one of the things that were going on at the time was that John Deere went on strike. John Deere went on strike. They went on strike for wages and better working conditions. And, they were on strike for, I want to say, a couple weeks, if not longer. And folks from DSA's labor branch went out there to the Quad Cities, and we stood with those folks on the line. We stood there picketing with them. This was at the same time.
Saw you out there at the union.
Yeah, it was great. My kid went out there with me as well.
Yeah.
It was his first strike, so he'd never been at a strike. So that was very interesting to take a young man out there. And so
let me know when I can play that clip of you.
Yeah. Yes. Now, if you want to play it now. Now's a great time. But
I think people need to see, like, if they want to learn more, you can watch this. It's like a 5-minute video. It's really helpful.
Yes.
And you're highlighted in it. So
let's show that video of
right.
a bit of UAWD, so folks get a glimpse of what was all at stake in that election.
This is a historic moment for our union. We're looking at our brothers and sisters at John Deere who voted down their contract at 90% and decided to walk out. That's huge. And those are folks saying, hold on, you guys have not done bargaining in our best interest. You have not gotten what we need. I'm very concerned because I'm concerned about the future of the union. I'm concerned about our future ability to organize more workers. I'm concerned about our future ability to really bargain good contracts, because our leaders are going to jail and the companies know it.
While 10,000 United Auto Workers members are on.
So thanks for showing that clip. And so folks can go to A More Perfect Union and check that out and learn more about the John Deere strike, learn more about Unite All Workers for Democracy and some of the work that went into making that all possible. So that's a great thing. I want to also shift, because I want to stay on the topic of talking about DSA and how much I love DSA. I got involved with DSA from a gentleman named, and I'm going to call it, why can I not think of Tom's last name? Tom's last name won't come to me right now.
Strobel?
No, that
Oh,
was Bill Pegg. And so Bill and
Bill
Peg
Peck.
were great
Sorry.
in bringing me in.
Oh yeah,
But it
Tom
was,
who passed away. Yeah.
yes, it was Tom who I met at several labor notes conferences and things. And Tom who, I talked to around Thanksgiving time, unfortunately, before he passed, who said, hey, go to the DSA meeting, go to this DSA meeting. I went and I felt at home and I loved it. And I kept coming back and kept coming back. And years later, I've been there. So, I want to say that. And one of the great things we got to do, and I want you to throw that up on the screen right now, Dave, is the brake light clinics. It was a direct action. It's something I love doing. And it's something that we did a number of those over the years where we would change brake lights and change brake lights for folks who needed their brake lights changed. The reason why we did brake light clinics is because we understood, and I understood that as a kid, I would always get pulled over for brake lights or tail lights or license plate lights. You never look at the back of your car. You never look at the back of your car. And so you miss those things until someone tells you. And unfortunately, as a young Black man, I'm pulled over and I'm talking to, the officer about a light that I cannot get out of the car and check, that the officer is telling me is out, and I don't know for sure. Now, it's a cheap light. And if you have the experience, it's easy to change. But most people don't have the experience. Most people don't know, and they don't have the money to pay at the shop. And so we end up in that kind of precarious predicament where we can't get it done. And so we held up brake light clinics throughout, the western suburbs, and we're able to change brake lights for folks and keep folks out of trouble. We were able to help folks who were trying to qualify to do Uber and Lyft because they had lights out or what have you, and the shop wanted to charge them $50. We did it for free. And the number of folks who would thank us for doing that is amazing. Now, you fast forward a couple of years, and guess who else is doing brake light clinics? Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart. He's all of a sudden in the brake light clinic business where he's got folks changing brake lights. Go figure. Who would have ever thought that
Right.
the sheriff's department doesn't want people to get pulled over? But what do you say? What do you do?
Well, those studies came out. They had them with the Illinois State Police that after dark, the cops pull over equal numbers of people. But before the sun goes down, they pull over more Black drivers. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yep.
this is a really important kind of practical thing you can do to be a good, neighbor, a good, a good socialist, I guess, a good member of the community, to help, it's just like you said, and you're putting your technical, this is obviously not much of a pull for you, having worked at Ford, but you're using your skills into the community like this. So it's not just the elected official. I
Right.
think it's great, man.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it actually brake light clinic and doing the brake light clinic is how I met you. And so, who would have
Yeah, that's
figured that great friendships and relationships develop just from being involved and getting out there in the community. And so you are absolutely right. And so we talk about that and, in the brake light clinic and why I've been involved in DSA and how all that's come about. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the work with the NAACP that I've been involved with the Chicago West Side branch of the NAACP for probably the last 4 or 5 years, and was recently selected to chair the Labor and Industry Committee. That committee is, about investigating wrongs that have happened to workers when they bring them to you. The committee also does things about working for and talking around project labor agreements and talking with trades about putting and bringing in more people of color into their organization and how we can get that information out to our members and to our members' kids and families. Because as we know, people are always looking for good jobs and great opportunity. But if you don't have access to the information, then you miss out on the opportunity. And so that's part of what the Labor and Industry Committee does. The NAACP has been involved with a lot of things locally, from redistricting that is happening and figuring out, even here in the city of Chicago, how many seats are proportioned to Black people and to Latinos and to the rest of the community. And I've been on a lot of those calls and in those conversations, and understanding that as population drops in our state, they have to reduce seats or they have to redo districts. And sometimes those redone districts disadvantage disadvantaged people of color. So yeah, it's something else. But I want to, Dave, I'm gonna have to do a hard stop right now because I got to hop on another one. I'm sorry. We're gonna come back to this, and I thank you because there's more to say, not only about the NAACP or the NAACP and DSA, why I've been so involved in all of this stuff, and how that feeds into my work with DSA and my continued involvement and engagement with DSA. So that's where I'm at. Thank you for
Thanks, Tim.
considering. And yeah, I'll see you in part 2, folks. We're going to do part 2. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.